Hello, how are you guys doing? Have you ever wondered, you know, how to get started on WoW? You probably saw some video somewhere and you want to get started. So this is for completely new players, a no-nonsense guide on basically the very basics of WoW as a new player. The first thing when you log in, you get your subscription, or you don't need to. First of all, like at the very beginning, you get to level up to level 20 for free. So I have a lot of characters, don't worry about it. So first thing you're gonna do is choose a realm. Realm is basically server. So as a new player, you can get into these new player realms like Turalian, Doomhammer. I ended up getting a lot on Turalian, and previously realms used to matter a lot because you couldn't make transactions between other realms. So now that has changed. So realms are kind of not a big deal anymore. But in any event, for this little thing, I'm going to use the Emerald Dream. Just because I like to have characters on different realms for other purposes, which we can explore on other videos anyway. So first thing you do is create a character. So this video will be all about character creation because that takes a lot of thinking. So on the top you can see this is male, this is female. So whatever you prefer, you can just select up there. On the left side you have alliance, right side you have horde. So these on the left, the very left, human, dwarf, night elf, gnome, Draenei, Worgen, Pandaren, and Drakthir. These are the core characters, and these here, white elf, light forest Draenei, dark iron dwarf, Arden, Coltarian, Mechanome, and Haranir. These basically are expanded races. So what that means is that these come with the default game. With these you have to unlock. So you see, I still haven't unlocked Arden. I still haven't unlocked Haranir. Haranir is, you need to have the midnight expansion, which didn't come out yet, but you see I still haven't unlocked Arden, which was the War Within. I also didn't unlock a lot of the Horde allied races. These were part of BFA, Battle for Azeroth, and that was an expansion like 2-3 expansions back. When was it? Like, this is Midnight almost. So War Within, Shadowlands, Dragonflight. So 4 expansions back, really. Okay. So before it was very hard to unlock these, and now it's a lot easier. It's just a few quests. Before it was a lot of grinding. Anyway, so forget about that. So as a new player, you can already choose between these, right? These and these. So Horde, you have Orc, you have Undead, you have Tauren, you have Troll, you have Blood Elf, you have Goblin, Pandaren, and Drakthir. Pandaren and Drakthir is the same for both Alliance and Horde. And depending on which race you select, these are races. Depending on your race, your option here will change. These are the roles, the classes, right? So if I right click, I can see more information. So human has increased haste, critical strike, mastery, and versatility, bonus to Hearthstone efficacy, breaks out of stun effects. These are pretty basic. Horde here has Orc, enraged to increase damage, resistance to stun effects, damage done by pets increased. Okay. Pets are kind of like a mini game inside the game. It's like kind of like Pokemon kind of thing, if you're into that. Anyway, so for this, I'm going to quickly explain like all the basic races. these, I know, it's not for new players, so I'm not gonna bother with them, but yeah, so humans are basic, orcs are basic, you know, basic horde, basic alliance. Then you have dwarf. Dwarf are like this little guys that live in the mountains. They can take on a stone form. The racial passives are racial traits. They are not a big game changer, so don't worry about it. Don't choose because of that. Like, it's such a small, it has such a small effect in the game. It's like it's negligible, right? So increases effects from crits, resistance to fraud damage, find more archaeology fragments, and service faster. All right. Night Elf is, it's going to fade into shadows, more difficult to hit, moves faster when dead, resistance to nature damage, faster movement, stealth. So as you can see, I'm switching through them. Like, human cannot be druid, human cannot be shaman, human can't be demon hunter or evoker. Dwarf can't be druid, demon hunter, evoker. Right. Night Elf can't be paladin and shaman. Evoker nobody can be evoker except for Dractyr, so that's a different thing. Anyway, gnome here are little guys, like shorter than dwarves. They can escape from speed altering effects, increase resource pool, resistance to arcane, engineering skill increase, and attack faster. To be honest, none of them really matters. It's just if you want to have a little cute little character, you go for it. You can have a warlock, priest, rogue, mage, hunter, warrior, death knight, monk. Anyway. Then you have Draenei. Draenei can be paladin, warlock, priest, shaman, monk. They can't be druid though. Druid or demon hunter. Okay. Then you go to Worgen. These are like what do you call it? Werewolves. They have two forms. Okay. So you can be Death Knight. So you can't be a Worgen paladin or shaman. Okay. The rest, you know, Panda is kind of nowhere. They can't be druid or paladin or demon hunter, but the rest is okay. But they have a unique monk class. Not unique, kind of like it was introduced in Mist of Pandaria, but it's not unique. Like the Worgen can be monk. Yeah. Then you have Dractyr, who can be evoker, or they can also be these warrior, hunter, mage, rogue, priest, or warlock, right? And same thing here. Panda and Dractyr is the same. So if I forgot to read the details. Racial traits are increase your wings to glide through the air, utilize skywriting, knock enemies away, increase mastery, find additional rare reagents. Panda is put enemies to sleep, receive twice as much rest experience, increase benefits from eating food, cooking skill increased, take less falling damage. Worgen is move quicker, nature damage, scanning. I wouldn't really worry about anything much. Like only like stuff like, for example, Draenei has jewel crafting skill increased, so you know, even then it doesn't matter much. You can manually skill them up as well. So just whatever you prefer, right? On the horse side, we have undead. Obviously, undead can't be paladin. If you mouse over, you can see all the stuff who can't be what. And then you have Tauren, like big cow guys, right? Tauren can stomp, stunning opponents. Herbalism increase. Okay, and then Tauren can be paladin. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Then you have trolls. Trolls apparently they have a good dinosaur here if they're a hunter. So if you create a hunter, everyone will have a default unique pet with them. You can always choose something else, but every race has their own default pet as a hunter. This is interesting. Blood Elf has like a fish kind of thing. Alright, and this is a crab for Goblin. Panda has this big cow, and Draktyr has this big, I think, magical ram or something. Who's this? Okay, this is the human farm. Okay. All right. So, what do you choose, right? I'm going to give you a recommendation based on your playstyle. Okay, so Horde and Alliance. Basically, I prefer Alliance. I just don't like Ogrimmar. Ogrimmar is the Horde capital city. You can try both, like create a character in both Alliance and Horde and see what you like. I don't like Ogrimmar because it's like a bit of a rough area, like all this you can see. If you are, more of a Horde guy, go for it. I kind of always get lost in Ogrimmar. I don't know if I, stay long enough, I might get into it, but I prefer the city, the good-looking, cool-looking Stormwind, the castles and stuff, right? So that's why I go. I know it's not a really big reason, but I kind of go with the Alliance, and I can never main a Horde. No, anyway. So with that out of the way, I'm gonna stick with the Alliance, but feel free to choose a Horde. And I'm gonna go with a Druid myself for this particular video, but just to let you know what your preference is. Like, Druid is very versatile in a way that, like, Druids can be both tank, healer, or damage dealers, DPS, that is, right? So let's go over those. Like, Warrior can do tank or damage, like DPS or tank. They can't be healers, right? Hunter can be only DPS, they can only do damage, right? They can't be tank, or they can't heal. Mage is also just DPS. Rogue is also DPS. You can see there is written there melee damage. Priest is healer or range damage. Warlock is range damage. Paladin is versatile like Druid. They can be anything. Shaman is healer, range damage, and melee damage, so they can't be tanks. Monks can be anything. Monks are like Druid and Paladin. Demon Hunter can be tank or damage. Death Knight can be tank or damage. Evoker can be healer or damage, right? So what do you go for? Like, as your main first character, I would go for DPS or tank, not healer. Healer is very hard. You can, always choose something like a Druid or Paladin and then switch. If I remember correctly, my very first character was either a warrior or a hunter. It probably was a hunter, I'm not sure. So there is ups and downs to like different characters. For example, hunter is mostly good at ranged. So what happens is that even though it says melee is not that great, right? Because hunter is supposed to use their pets and stuff. So when you use a hunter, a lot of the time you just die because people just attack you, melee, right? A lot of the trash and the bosses and stuff, they'll just do melee damage, right? And then you're a hunter, you have a, if you're solo PvE, that means not in a group, right? Just fighting against the environment, you get killed pretty easily. But it's a fun little class, right? Warrior is kind of old school. It was good when the game first came out, I guess, but if you are tanking, maybe I don't really like it, but if you want to be a warrior, they have some cool abilities, especially the melee damage. They have some cool melee damage abilities. You can You can fool around with it, right? If you like it, you go for it. Mage is more like people who like, doing damage from far away using magical stuff. So if that's your style, go for that, right? Rogue is, you stay in the shadows, deal damage, move away, things like that. So if that's your thing, using poisons. So if that's your preference, you go for rogue. Priest, most people use priest for healer. Priest is rarely used for like a DPS, right? Priest is kind of a healer class. Most player you'll see if they're using a priest, they're healing. They're not using it for damage. Warlock is damage. It's like the dark version of mage, right? Let's see here. Let's select the paladin. Paladin is versatile. It's like I would recommend out of all of these, I would recommend go for paladin or druid or maybe even monk, right? Of course, it's totally up to your playstyle, but the reason being, like, you can switch, and paladin are good damage dealers. They're good tank. They're good healer. So it's like a balance of everything. So if you change your mind, you can just switch your specialization. You don't have to create a whole new character. Right. Same with druid. Druid has a special, I'd say, like specialized stuff. Like they can shapeshift. Compared to the paladin, they just have a special class. Like they can be all three classes, all three roles, right? Like they can be tank, healer, melee damage, but they can't shape it. Druids can shape shifts, and as a new player, you might, even as an old player, I like druid. As a new player, you might like it because the shapeshift cat can be, in a stealth. You can move stealthily. You can also have a bear, which is like a tank, and then you can have a flying form, right? And the way people use druid is a lot of us who do gold farming, they use druid for gold farming because the flying form, you can just fly above, like say a bunch of herbs, pick it up and fly away, compared to if you're picking up herbs with the other classes, right? You have to like get off your mount, pick the herb, and mount up and go again, right? So that makes druid the best, like picking gathering profession. If you want to go for that is a good way to actually make money in the game. So you can go for the druid. I would say, like, as a new player, like, unless you really want something else, go for a paladin or a druid. And yeah, like these were, I'll not go with these ones. Monk, shaman, demon hunter. If you really want a demon hunter, sure, have an alt or something. But my recommendation is a druid or paladin. Now, what to start with doesn't really matter, right? Once you've picked a druid or paladin, you can be anyone. You can be a tank, healer, or melee. And the reason I say that is because you can just switch up, right? So for this little experiment, I am actually going to select one of the allied races. So here we have what is this? Earthen. Deal fire damage to enemies, eat gems to go fed, chance to gather additional materials, increase armor. Okay. So, let's see which allied race can be druid. This is, I don't have it unlocked. Kulturan can be druid. Kulturan druid is kind of unique because their shapeshift dudes are a little different. They're like, see, they look a little different. Like compared to the regular one. So you know, if you want to look a little different, you might want the Cultivan Druid. But to unlock Cultivan, you first need a regular character to unlock it. Right? So anyway, so moving on. Let's say we are choosing this. You can choose whatever, and then if you go next, you can customize here. So what you do is select a name, right? I'm going to randomize everything. This is fine, and you have to choose a name. Whatever the name is, it has to be available. So for example, if I select Druid, say it's not available, right? So you have to select something that is kind of unique. Alright, so for this one we named it Herbologist. Not very creative, but it'll have to do. Right, we can make it super dark, whatever we want. This is good. Okay, green, everything green. Alright, so if you finish, that'll create a character here, and if you log in now, depending on what you choose, you're going to be transported in that area, right? So because I chose a Cultivan Druid,
every
I will come here,
with the sea.
right? So but they have streamlined the new player experience. So what will happen is you will be able to like they'll basically pick up a quest which will lead you to a starting area, and there will be a streamlined experience for your gaining your XP and getting familiar with the game. I'll leave that for another video. For this is all you need to know. If you like it, let us know. If you have any comments, let us know. Thank you for watching.